Have you ever poured your heart out in prayer, only to be met with deafening silence? That feeling of abandonment can shake the deepest foundations of your faith. You find yourself whispering into the void, "God, are you there? Do you even hear me?" It's that raw, vulnerable moment when the heavens seem sealed shut and doubt creeps in like a shadow. But what if this silence isn't a cold rejection or a sign that you've been forgotten? What if it's actually a profound, even protective form of divine communication, God's way of speaking volumes without uttering a word? Today, we're diving deep into this spiritual mystery. We'll explore real stories from everyday life and from the Bible, uncovering how the prayers God doesn't seem to answer might actually be His most powerful, life-altering responses of all. By the end, you may see your own season of silence in a whole new light, one filled with hope and hidden purpose. We've all been there, haven't we? You're desperate for a breakthrough. Maybe it's a dream job you've interviewed for endlessly, healing from an illness that's drained your strength, or restoring a relationship that once meant everything to you. You've done everything right. You've fasted, quoted scripture, gathered others to pray with you, and whispered your pleas late into the night. And still nothing. Just silence echoing back your questions. That ache, that disappointment, it's real, and it's human. Even the greatest figures of faith wrestled with it. David cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Elijah, fresh off a miraculous victory, hid in a cave convinced he was alone. These moments remind us that a silent God is not an absent God. He is present in the quiet, working in ways we cannot yet see. Think about your own unanswered prayer. What if the silence you're experiencing is the opening line of a greater story? So why does God sometimes remain quiet? Often, His silence is not neglect, it's protection. Think of a child reaching for a glowing hot stove. To the child, the parent's sudden no feels harsh and confusing. But to the parent, it's love in action, preventing harm the child cannot comprehend. In the same way, divine silence can be a purposeful pause, shielding us from outcomes we believe we want. But that would ultimately wound us. God tells us plainly, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways." His timing is intentional, never random. Consider the Apostle Paul, who pleaded for relief from a painful thorn in his flesh. The silence he received wasn't cruelty. It was an invitation to discover that God's grace is sufficient, and His power is made perfect in weakness. That unanswered prayer became the very source of Paul's strength. I once heard from someone who prayed relentlessly for a promotion, only to be met with months of silence. Later, the company collapsed in scandal. That unanswered prayer turned out to be protection, guiding them toward a far better opportunity they could never have planned themselves. God's pauses are not empty spaces. They are careful redirections. You may wonder why God allows the waiting to stretch on. The truth is, faith grows strongest in the tension of the unanswered. Instant answers require little trust, but lingering silence reshapes us. It draws us from shallow requests into deep reliance. Joseph waited years in slavery and prison before his prayers were answered, but that waiting shaped him into a leader capable of saving nations. Abraham waited decades for the promised son, and in that silence, his faith became unshakable. In your own life, the wait may feel unbearable, but it is fertile ground. It teaches patience, humility, and trust. God is not ignoring you. He is inviting you deeper. Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. The waiting is not wasted. It is where transformation happens. So how do you live faithfully in divine silence? Begin by changing your perspective. Instead of focusing on the apparent no, look for the protection it may carry. Reflect on past seasons of waiting and how they quietly guarded you. Then wait with expectation. Don't simply endure the silence. Engage with it. Ask what God is shaping in you right now. Spend time in reflection, scripture, and stillness, listening for meaning beneath the quiet. Above all, trust the unseen hand guiding you. Even when the path ahead feels obscured, believe that God's direction is steady and loving. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. That trust turns silence into grace and waiting into blessing. If you are walking through a season of divine silence right now, hold on. Your story is not ending. It is unfolding. God's pauses are often the prelude to His greatest revelations. Choose to trust His timing and keep walking forward in peace.